What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the next video in learning Python. My name is QDS Dani and you guys watching my channel Koiwood. In this video we're gonna talk about exception handling. That sounds scary, but one of the most useful, and that's the basic structure of any other programming language. Whether you guys making applications for end user, or you guys making games, you guys making anything inside the Python, you guys needs to know that there is something called exception handling. So in Python, it's just not like a human. Humans, when we go and buy a car, and the guy tells us to put some digits, we are not going to put a string. We're going to put digits of the amount of the car. But because computers, they don't understand that. Computers not like humans. They don't have logic. They don't have anything to think. It's a programmer's job to do it, to put anything inside the computer. So if you guys making an app, and your app accepts the age, which is going to be int, supposed to, and if the user comes in, put a Google, for example, and if your apps doesn't have any safeguard, this age, which is going to be the type int, and the user comes in, put a Google, which is the literal string, your app's going to crash, because you are supposed to put, it's going to get a bug, because if you put an age, for example, if you put an age and it's a type int, and if supposed to accept int, and if I come in and put a string, what's going to happen, do you think, to your program? And I guarantee you, when you guys making apps inside of Python, it goes to the general public for after the release, and it's a lot of hackers gonna scan your apps and scan every parts of your app or a program to find vulnerabilities. One of these vulnerabilities is this one. Your computer should not give anything. They say if you put an age, say for example, if I come here and I put a age, for example, and if I put an int, okay, so I'm gonna put a int, and I'm gonna put inside input. I'm gonna put an enter age. Okay, you guys, you expect me to say print, and I'm going to print age, for example. All right, very simple program, very innocent, simple program. But the only problem is, if I come and check your exception handling in your application, and if I put a Google, if you guys look in here, traceback most recent call, the Python's giving you error, line 7 module, age input enter age value error. The value error, you guys getting the value error. Why you guys getting invalid literal for int with the base 10 Google? So it means it's telling that it's got a value error and the invalid literal for int, because you guys put an int here, and the invalid literal because I put a literal here. And imagine if the hackers, the top hackers, they're looking for places to get to your site, to get to your computer. And this is a vulnerability because it's exposing your site that's got a value error. It means there is error in this program. This program is going to leak information. It means it's a potential for the hacker to exploit this value error and put some sort of malicious code, and it's going to run. So this is very dangerous, because if your program gives an error like this, the hacker is going to love you. I'm going to tell you now, you guys learning programming, the hacker is going to love you long time. Every time you guys go, if you work for a big company, and if you put something like this and you don't put a try and exception handling, you don't put your safeguard your application, and if it gives an error, the hackers, all the hackers, gonna love you a long time. They're gonna love you so much that they're gonna destroy your career and they're gonna destroy your application into pieces. Same like Ashley Madison. If you guys remember the Ashley Madison, we making websites, inviting all these people who are married to have a partner, illegal partner, and what's gonna happen? The reason they put it, because they didn't know anything about the exception handling. They didn't know about the security, SHA-1 security in PHP. They didn't know anything. They didn't put any safeguard around the application. What do you think, guys, think that Google's comes under attack every day, thousands of times, from China, from North Korea, from every other country, but because they more invest more about their security, all their programmers know the first thing for you guys know to make a program is to make a boundary, to draw a big boundary and put a very hard razor wire around your applications for no one to can carry in. The security is number one. What do you guys think? The Facebook comes under attack, or the Twitter comes under attack every day, but because they have a very strong measures in the security around their applications, no one can get through that applications. No one can. There is no vulnerabilities inside. But imagine if the Facebook have anything like this vulnerability, all the hackers gonna inform each other there is a Windows here, and we can get there. If you guys know, there is a company called NSO in Israel went to put some malicious code in Apple. How they got the malicious code is because they found a vulnerability inside the iOS phones, but they couldn't render the GIF. When they couldn't render the GIF, which is the type of image, we all know the GIF, they found some vulnerability and rendering issues, very innocent rendering issues, and they get inside the application. And guess what happens? They went to sell this vulnerability application. They're hacking app to a lot of countries, including India. And Mr. Modi loved it. He he hacked a lot of opposition leaders, a lot of people he didn't like. So this is what happens when you guys don't look at the very innocent mistakes in your application. You guys don't put anything, don't expose anything to the hacker. Any end user shouldn't see this. This is very dangerous. Everyone sees this, it means it's a sign of danger. And how are we going to prevent that? We're going to prevent that by the use of exception handling. The exception handling is the base of any exception inside the Python. We're going to talk about the exception handling in the next videos as well. Okay, so the first one is going to be exception, that's the base, and the second one is going to be stop iteration. We use this one when we go for the iterator, and if it's not pointing to any objects, then there's going to be system exit, then it's going to be standard error, overflow error, floating point, iOS error, input output error, key error. It's going to be a lot of exception handling in Python. And say for example input output error, this is for the file. So when you guys if you guys putting for the user to open a file, and if there is that file is not inside the computer, say for example you guys want to put any file in, that file is not, then the computer is going to give this sort of error. And guess voila, then what happens that someone's got very good computer knowledge but evil intentions, then they're going to come in and explode your application. The common ones in this one we see here is the value error. We're going to put a simple program to you guys know, so you guys making the program, so enter your age, but the user is going to put something else. So how you guys gonna say defend against this sort of attacks? Okay, so if you guys gonna come here and we're gonna put this one down because that sounds very scary. So we're gonna put a while true because we're putting this one true. Okay, the while one, there is a mistake. The while true, and we put a try. We put a try, and what we're gonna try, we're gonna put an age, and we're asking the user to put an age. All right, and we're gonna put we're gonna come here, and we want to print, and we want to use something for the user. We want to put your age is according to our application. So we want to put a user that your age is, and what's the user age, and you guys don't forget to put your formatting here, format. So that's a user, and then what's going to happen, we're going to put a break, and now we're going to come here, and because we put a break, now you guys needs to put an exception handling. Then the other part of this try is except. That's what is called exception handling. We put accept, and what was our error? Our error was value error because that's the exception handling. So we put accept, and we're gonna see this one, the value error. We're gonna put a value error, and now we go telling Python's telling if you're putting this one, if the user is didn't put your age, didn't put anything in int, or if user try to be smart and put something else, then we stop that one, and we're going to display our message. What's our message? Our message is going to be print. We put the number is not accepted. Please enter valid number. Okay, valid age number. You guys can put 3 dots here. Okay, now you guys have safeguarded your applications. Now we're going to say while true, and we already know what while true is. So we're going to come here, and the Python is going to say try this code. If the user try to be smart and put something else, then we're going to give this value error. Very easy. This is very easy. Then because now we gotta put something, say now if you come here and enter your age, if I put my age, say 19, your age is 19. So how about if I come here and I put a Google? So I put a Google instead of my age. The enter number is not accepted. Please enter valid number. Very easy, very good, because now the hackers or people who are trying to find exploitation in your program can't find any error, because you guys already put a wire here. You guys already know what the problem is here, and your applications looks clean. It's not giving any type of error. There is no such thing as there is no error. It's not showing any sign of weakness or vulnerability. All is saying that the enter number is not accepted. Please enter valid number. Doesn't matter what they try to do with a hacker. Say if they try to put any malicious code, say for example if they try to put a div, for example, if they try to put a JavaScript, our JavaScript, or anything script, or any malicious code is not accepted. It's not going to accept anything beside this number. You have to put a number, otherwise your your application is not going to run unless it's received this integer number, because that's what your application wants. That's what you want. You want to show the user's age. That's your application is all about age, and that's what you want. All you want is an integer. You don't want a string, you don't want any other things, you don't want a code, you don't want a malicious code, you don't want ABC, you don't want a string, you don't want anything else, but except you guys want an integer. So when you want integer, you guys make sure you always protect your application through the through the exception handling. And keep in mind, exception is the base, and that's how we're going to do. For example, now we're going to come in another scenario. All right, so now we're gonna put this one in our comment. We're gonna move that one, and we're gonna bring a comment here. So I'm gonna put a 3 here, and that's done. Okay, now we are putting that our file. For example, we're putting a file, and we're putting a file open. So what is the file open? For example, we want a file abc.txt, and what we want to do inside that, we want to read that file, or you guys want to put a w, whatever you guys want to do. And now you guys want to put a file dot, you guys want to write on that file. Okay, what do you want to write? It says I want to see this file. Okay, so now you guys want to write your file, but this file, if you look in here, we don't have this file. We don't have abc.txt. So now we're going to run our code, and you guys now tell me what's going to happen. And now we're going to come and see file not found error. See, this is again the same problem, because we are showing something that we didn't have any exception handling here. So now the hackers know that this our application have this sort of problem, this sort of exception handling, file not found. How to deal with this one? You guys need to come here again, and you guys can put your try this file. So we put a file, and underneath we put a file again. You guys can do this, and here we put an input output error. So we put an exception handling except input output error, IO error. If you guys look in here, that's a very good example. Exception, base exception, indentation error. So you guys gonna see here that the base exception and exception IO error, they are part of the exception handling. So if you put an IO error, and now we're gonna say print, and what we want to tell the user says we can't find your error. Sorry, we can't, or you guys can put this one, find your file. Alright, so now we're gonna try, and now we're gonna run, and it says sorry, we can't find your file. That's it. Sorry, there is error here. Can't find your file, or can't find the given file. Just in case, if you guys want to put else, you guys can put else as well. Just in case, if you guys very successful, if our application is successful, could find it, then you guys need to put else. And what happens when we could find it, and we say print, it says yay, we found your file. Okay, easy. Now if this file exists in our system, now we tell the user to open this file, which you guys gonna encounter this while doing programming in Python. You guys gonna have say any file, then if you have your exception handling, you guys gonna give this error message. But just in case, if you guys found the wrong file, and you guys can put a we found your file, but you guys can say this is a wrong file. So that's a very basic exception handling in Python. Just keep in mind that in future videos, when we start classes and when we start functions, object-oriented part of the Python, then we're going to come and revisit this exception handling. But at the moment, if you guys know how we do the basic exception handling with say you guys making application with integer, and you guys want from the user integer, but the user enters a string, so that's how you guys going to defend your application. And if you look in here in the second example, if you guys look, if you try to open the user's file, but this file is not in the system because you guys can't see this file here, this file. So we want to say that we want to open the file and we want to write something on the file, but this file is not there, and because we are not going to show any weakness to the user, can exploit this vulnerability. So what we're going to use the users, we can't find this file. That's it, simple. We are not going to show in user error, but once you guys, if your application shows any error, it means that's going to be the end of your application, and I guarantee that. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you have any question or comment, leave in comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.